It finally arrived here in the Philippines, the ASUS ZenWiFi Pro XT12. I have been waiting for this router since I saw it in the other regions. And I would like to say thanks to our friends at ASUS Philippines for letting us test this powerful ZenWiFi XT12. Without further ado, let us unbox this unit. Let's unbox this one. On this box, we have here a power cord and additional power cord for different regions. And aside from that one, we have here the power brick, and of course, it comes with a LAN cable. And on the other side, it also comes with a power cord, another power cord, a power brick. Okay, and so in total, we have here 4 power cords for different regions, and we have 2 power brick as well, and of course 1 LAN cable. Whoa, let's put this out and the other one out as well. Let's try to check what are the things that are at the bottom. At the bottom, we have here just pure documentation and warranty and quick start guide, so we won't be using that one for now. So let's try to close this one. Wow. Wow. And of course, and of course the other unit. So currently we have here 2 units, and of course the accessories included. For the specification, this is a tri-band mesh system, one 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi frequency and 2 5 GHz Wi-Fi frequency, which you can use one as a wireless backhaul for mesh configuration. Combined data rates up to 11,000 Mbps, dual 2.5 gig LAN, 2 gigabit LAN, which can be aggregated as well, 10 internal antennas, 2 GHz quad-core processor, 1 gig of RAM, and a lot more. Now, let us configure this Wi-Fi router. For the configuration, plug the power adapter on a wall outlet and of course the other end at the back of this Wi-Fi router. And it fits in here. And of course, get a LAN cable coming from your main source of internet. It may be a modem router or another Wi-Fi router. Just plug it at the back and it is labeled 1 port. I hope you can still see this one. This is actually far. It is labeled 1 port. So we're going to plug this LAN cable there. Okay, and of course, we are going to wait for a couple of minutes to actually wait for the SSID coming from this XT12. Okay guys, it is already lit blue and we are going to connect to that ASUS_60 XT12. That is the default SSID for this one. And after connecting to that one, we're going to open the ASUS application that we have downloaded, ASUS router. And of course, we're going to click the plus sign on the top and set up new router. Okay, and we have here 3 choices and we're going to choose the ASUS ZenWiFi series router. And let's try to refresh. It already showed us the ZenWiFi XT12, but let's try to hit refresh just to make sure that this is the one that we are currently going to configure. Okay, as you can see, there is ZenWiFi Pro XT12. Click on that one. Connecting to ZenWiFi Pro, it will configure, and let's wait for it. Okay, and let us click get started. And of course, if there is additional information from your ISP, turn that on. But for now, we don't have any. Click next. And of course, the Wi-Fi name SSID that we were going to use with this XT12. And let us just name it for now XT12. And the Wi-Fi password maybe is 98765432110. And of course, let's try to separate the Wi-Fi SSID, the 2.45 GHz one and 5 GHz two. It will be using the same password for the three Wi-Fi frequency. And after that one, your Wi-Fi key is too weak. Yes, that is actually a good indication that your router is able to detect that your Wi-Fi is actually weak. And for the username, let us just use admin. And of course, the password will be admin 12345. Then, of course, a special character. And of course, the confirm password. Asterisk and hit go. And setting up your network, let's wait for a couple of minutes more to fully complete the installation. Okay, and it seems that our password for the XT12 is already saved on this phone, and we are already reconnected with the XT12 SSID that we have created. Okay, and right now it is performing network optimization. Okay, for now, let us try to skip this one and let us try to check the configuration that we have done on this router. XT12 password is 98765432110. Username admin, admin12345 asterisk, and hit finish. And that's it. You already have internet connection from your Wi-Fi router. Okay guys, right now, how to set up the second node. Okay, we're going to set this up using a wireless backhaul. So we just need to plug the power adapter on a wall outlet and of course, plug the power cord at the back of this Wi-Fi router. Okay, while waiting for this one, I would just like to show you the application that we only have one ZenWiFi Pro XT12 and currently there are two devices connected. One is my phone and the other one is my computer. While waiting for this one, let's try to wait for a couple of minutes for this actually to configure. Honestly, you don't have to do anything. You just need to wait for it to actually configure. Okay guys, after 3 minutes, the configuration is actually completed. As you can see here on the application, we have two ZenWiFi XT12. And that is really how easy to configure this mesh system. That was really easy to configure using the ASUS application. Now, let us try to check what we can actually configure on this Wi-Fi router by checking the web management console. But if you don't like to check the web management console, go straight to the actual test on this timeline. Right now, we are in the web management console of the ZenWiFi Pro XT12. Under the network map, you'll be able to see here the wireless network available, which is the 2.4 GHz, which is XT12, while the other one is 5 GHz is XT12 underscore 5G-1, and the last one will be the 5 GHz-2, which is actually being used as a dedicated Wi-Fi backhaul for AI mesh node. But if you want, you can actually use this one, enable this to be a usable Wi-Fi network. And aside from that one, under the status, you'll be able to see the utilization of the hardware, which we have here the CPU, the total number of RAMs that are being utilized, and of course the Ethernet ports. For the Ethernet ports, it actually has 2.5 gig and additional 2.5 gig. One 2.5 gig is actually used for our main source of internet or from our modem. And of course, the other 2.5 gig is you can actually use this on your media server or a NAS server or other important server that requires high speed bandwidth. And next one, we're going to the AA mesh. Under the AA mesh, you'll be able to see here some of the basic information like the ZenWiFi Pro XT12 and of course the other AA mesh node that is connected to this network. And right now, as you can see here, ZenWiFi Pro XT12, and this is actually connected via wireless 5 GHz network. Okay? On the guest network, you can actually create a guest network for your visitor or your guest so they won't actually able to see your Wi-Fi network or the devices under your personal network. And of course, we have here the AI protection. By default, this is disabled. You can enable this one for more secure network. Okay, and we have your malicious site blocking, two-way IPS, and of course, infected device prevention and blocking. Aside from that one, we have here the parental controls. Under the parental controls, you can actually block content category for each devices. And of course, we have here time scheduling. We have a separate page for this one. You can enable time scheduling and have them access the internet on this time duration. Next will be the adaptive QoS. For the adaptive QoS, there are a lot of things in here. Right now, we have here the bandwidth monitor, the actual usage of the devices that are currently connected to your Wi-Fi network. And of course, we have here QoS. For the QoS, you can set this one if you want to prioritize games, media streaming, or if you want, you can customize actually the traffic coming from your network. Like for example, of course, work from home is first one and learn from home. Maybe third will be gaming, but it's up to your configuration. And we also have here the web history. Okay, the web history, you can actually see access of the devices on which domain name they're trying to access or which website they're trying to access, okay? And aside from that one, we have here the internet speed. This is actually a useful tool for some ASUS Wi-Fi router because the reason that I really like this built-in internet speed test is you can actually know the actual internet speed that you are getting from your internet service provider. And of course, some might rant that I'm having a slow speed internet connection. But nonetheless, it might be your devices that are currently connected to the Wi-Fi routers, and you might actually isolate that your devices is actually the one having issues connecting over the internet. But nonetheless, this will show you your actual internet speed. And aside from that one, we have here the traffic analyzer. For the traffic analyzer, this gives you information or reports. Okay, as you can see here, speed test. There are a lot of things that are being used by this Huawei P30 Pro, and that's my mobile phone because we're actually testing a lot from this router. And of course, we have here the traffic monitor as well. Okay, under the wireless, we have here wireless general. Okay, as you can see here, these are the information for each individual band, like for 2.45 GHz and 5 GHz too. You can actually reconfigure this one if you need, like for example, changing the channel, disabling Wi-Fi 6 if you want. There are a lot of things with this one. And of course, you have here the WPS, which is actually helpful to add devices without entering the password. And of course, we have here WDS as well, wireless bridge. And of course, we have here the wireless MAC filter. Okay, the wireless MAC filter allows you to control packets from devices with a specific MAC address in your LAN. Okay, so enable MAC filter if you want to. And of course, we have radio setting, professional, and roaming blacklist. Now, going to the LAN. Okay, under the LAN, this will give you some information like the IP range that you'll be able to get from this Wi-Fi router. Like, for example, this web management console has 192.168.50.1. I can change this one as well. And of course, under the DHCP, I can change the range of IP address that will be allocated for the devices that are currently or will be connecting to this Wi-Fi router. Okay, and of course, you can also allocate or dedicate a specific device to obtain this IP address every time they connect to this wireless network. And of course, we have your route, IPTV, and of course, the switch control, banding, and link aggregation. Okay, for the link aggregation, this is actually useful if you want a combine two of the gigabit LAN to act as one. Okay, and aside from that one, we have here the one. Under the one, yes, definitely, this is also capable of doing a dual LAN. You can use the primary one as the one, and of course, you can use the Ethernet LAN, LAN port 1, LAN port 2, or even the 2.5 gig LAN. Okay, and of course, the option will be failover and load balance. Aside from that one, we have here the port trigger, virtual server, port forwarding, DMZ, DNS, and NAT pass-through. Now, let us go with Amazon Alexa. Yes, basically, I don't use this, but if you want, you can enable Amazon Alexa with this Wi-Fi router. And of course, we have here IPv6, VPN. Okay, for some people who are using VPN, yes, this is actually capable of using OpenVPN, IPsec VPN, WireGuard, and of course, PPTP. And VPN Fusion and InstaGuard as well is configurable on this Wi-Fi router. Next is for the firewall. For the firewall, yes, this is definitely for advanced user if you want to allowing this port and so on and so forth. And of course, we have here the URL filter. Okay, for the URL filter, we have already created a video for this one. I believe it will be the same features, the one that we have created for ASUS URL filter. And we have here keyword filter and of course, network service filter as well. Next will be the administration. For the administration, yes, this device or this Wi-Fi router is capable of doing a wireless router mode, access point repeater mode, media bridge, or AI mesh mode. And we have here the system, firmware upgrade, if there is actually a new firmware that is available for this Wi-Fi router. And of course, we have here the system lags and the network tools. This router is really flexible and we can configure a lot of things, but let us head out to the actual performance test. Let us begin with just one router. Okay guys, and right now we are connected to the XT12 5G, which is the 5 GHz Wi-Fi frequency of this Wi-Fi router. And of course, the reason why we are connected to this one is because we already have 500 Mbps subscription plan from our internet service provider, which is Converge. And let us do a baseline testing. Okay guys, as you can see, this is the baseline testing and let's try to move to the bedroom. Okay, inside the bedroom, let us do a speed test as well. Connected to the 5 GHz Wi-Fi frequency. Okay, and let's move downstairs. Okay guys, as you can see, we already have a poor connection downstairs. But let us try to do a speed test as well for the 5 GHz Wi-Fi frequency. Okay, and we are already encountering an error, so we need to connect to XT12 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi frequency. Okay, and as you can see, we have a strong connection on the 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi frequency, and let's hit go for the speed test. Okay guys, as you can see, we have 123 Mbps for download while 55 for upload. And let's go on the roof deck. Okay, let us try to check again our connection. We are still connected to the XT12, which is a 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi frequency. And we are getting 87 Mbps for download while 20.1 for upload, which is still a good connection for our internet connection. As you have seen, you can actually just use one router to cover the entire house. But for people like me, I don't like compromise on my internet speed. I want as much speed in all location or every corner of the house. So let us check the mesh node performance using the Wi-Fi backhaul. Okay guys, a while ago, we are not able to connect to the 5 GHz Wi-Fi frequency here in the ground floor. But right now, we have set up the second node here on the ground floor. And this doesn't have any LAN backhaul. We are using the dedicated 5 GHz Wi-Fi frequency as a backhaul for this one. And of course, we're going to perform a speed test as well on this location. Okay, connected to the 5 GHz Wi-Fi frequency, and let us hit go. Okay guys, from 100 plus Mbps, we are now getting 487 Mbps for download, while 342 for upload. And I would just like to show you the settings for this one. As you can see here, there is a ZenWiFi Pro, and we are connected to this one. There is one client on this connection. Okay guys, and right now we are on the roof deck. As you can see, we are connected to the 5 GHz Wi-Fi frequency, and this is the actual router that we had configured here on the roof deck. Earlier, we are getting around 80 plus Mbps for download, and let's try to check our actual internet speed right now here on the roof deck connected to the 5 GHz Wi-Fi frequency. Okay guys, as you can see from 80 plus Mbps, we are now getting 413 Mbps for download while 417 Mbps for upload. Guys, that is a great range performance from this XT12. For gaming, definitely it gave us a good gaming experience. Most of the time, single digit latency. There are some instances that we get 2 digits like 11 to 50 latency, but that was on a separate room where there is a concrete wall in between the router and my device. But that is still a competitive performance, 11 to 50. That is really low latency. I know some people will ask about that transfer performance. We are using Hyper for the test. Unfortunately, my NAS is not capable of gigabit network, so I was not able to test it with my NAS. But I was able to test it on my desktop, which has a 2.5 gig LAN port, while the other test machine is using an AX200 from Intel, which obtained a max link of 2.4 gigabit. And the result went well from my 2.5 to AX200. I was able to have as much as 200 megabytes per second transfer speed compared to 100 megabytes per second on a gigabit LAN. For AX200 to 2.5 LAN, unfortunately, there are a ton of issue with the AX200 Intel Wi-Fi card. Hopefully, we can look or we can find another Wi-Fi card that we can test. So in the future, we can fully test the Wi-Fi routers that will be sent to us to give you important information like the transfer speed of those Wi-Fi routers and of course those Wi-Fi cards. Now for my verdict and conclusion. Guys, definitely 5 star. I love the performance, especially with the additional 2.5 gig LAN for NAS or server or just workstation. Even the LAN aggregation is a great feature for this Wi-Fi router. My transfer speed will definitely be cut into half. And for the Wi-Fi performance, guys, no explanation needed. You can actually see everything on the actual test. It has a great range and great gaming performance, especially with the QoS configuration to prioritize games. Only issue right now is the Wi-Fi cards on the devices are not that great or not powerful enough to fully utilize this Wi-Fi router. But I believe Wi-Fi devices are getting better, and when the time comes, you are actually ready for it since you already have the XT12. The only concern is might be the pricing, but I think it's a fair price since you are not getting a single unit. You're actually getting two functional Wi-Fi router and you're getting the performance that you paid for. The additional thing that I can recommend ASUS Wi-Fi routers is they don't care about the series. If you have an old AI mesh router, you can just add it to this mesh system. That is actually a good addition for ASUS Wi-Fi routers. And I think that is all. I hope you liked the video. If you have comments and suggestions, comment down below or message me at JK Chavez on FB. Again, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Stay safe. And bye!